Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, but not as who you think he is, and at least this is what they're letting on. Again, somehow.
Well, he's going to be Tony Stark. He's going to be Tony Stark and Doctor Doom.
You'll get a post-credit scene.
What they're saving him for is doing T'Challa.
Renegade Online. So this is it. And Demian, I'm sure this is what you're looking at talking about. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, but not as who you think he is, and at least this is what they're letting on. He walked out on stage with the Doctor Doom mask, removed it, revealing himself as RDJ. I, for one, I could not be even less excited by this. I couldn't care. A lot of this, for me, has to do with the fact that I'm so detached from Marvel. I just don't care what they do at this point. I want to see Deadpool and Wolverine because of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. That's it. Beyond that, I don't care. But I also don't think that RDJ is going to be just Doctor Doom. I think it's a red herring. I think this is just to kind of tease it and get everybody talking. And then he's one way or another, he's going to wind up as Tony Stark in an Iron Man suit again. Somehow.
Well, he's going to be Tony Stark. He's going to be Tony Stark and Doctor Doom. And but for one film, he's going to do the Doctor Doom thing. He's in it for 2 movies. And if you were going to have RDJ be on set shooting, you either have to do something like this, a misdirect, or everybody's going to know that Iron Man's back. And they want to save that big moment for the audience.
You'll get a post-credit scene.
What they're saving him for is doing T'Challa.
Sadly, you are not on X anymore. You just saw my tweet about that,
Yep. And Demian, what do you think on this one? So I know you got some limited time, and I want to talk to you about this and some of the Ubisoft stuff. But
I think
where you at here?
It's a desperate move by Disney to do it, but it makes sense to me because clearly the way it's looking, the MCU is just not at the level of prominence that it once was, and I think that what this is just going to lead to is they're just going to adapt the 2015 Jonathan Hickman run of Secret Wars. Where, Dr. Doom becomes God Emperor Doom, and he basically uses Molecule Man to reset the universe, if you will. And what they're going to do is merge all the various timelines across everything. So the Fox X-Men universe, the Fantastic Four universe, because it's confirmed that they're in a different universe on their own. So we also know probably at the end of the Fantastic Four movie, they will come to the sacred timeline, which is like the main one, I guess you could say. So they need a way to bring Galactus, Surfer, all the X-Men, Miles Morales, whatever else they're going to do into one timeline. And I think that's the point of these movies, is that Doomsday will probably end in an Infinity War-like way, where everyone basically gets like merged into Battle World, which is basically like this planet where each part of the planet is a different part of each reality. So it's sort of like an Earth that's made up of like multiple Earths. That's the easiest way to explain it. And then Secret Wars will just be God Emperor Doom basically resetting the universe, and then they can reset it with a new Iron Man, new Captain America, have the X-Men, everything else, and then hopefully, hit the ground running and restart everything and make it better again. But I have very little faith that they can actually make it better again.
Well, I know that you reported this rumor a while back. We were just talking about this rumor this last week on Mr. H's stream, I think it was. I thought it was ridiculous then, but that's kind of basically the understanding, is that he's a multiverse variant who is technically Doctor Doom, because the Fantastic Four takes place, as you said, as Endymion said, in a different universe. It is also in a different time because it takes place in the 60s, and I don't know if anybody caught the actual little trailer that got leaked out as well, but it got pulled down quite quickly. So, there's certain aspects of this I'm interested in, but it's also kind of like, I think this is a cheap gimmick on certain, that's where I'm getting at. Like, the cheap gimmick is bringing back Robert Downey Jr. like this, because we've already seen a similar thing in Deadpool, to where this is their gimmick now, is they're going to be able to bring back dead and gone characters through other means, and it's more multiverse laziness bullshit.
That's it. That's the whole reason of bringing the multiverse in, so they could cheat anything. If something doesn't work, we'll say it's another universe. It's
exactly, yeah.
This is how you get away with in my opinion, and Paul, give me your thoughts on this. I mean, the whole multiverse idea with Marvel, I think from a commercial standpoint, has suited them well in the sense that they have screwed up so badly the last 3 years that they can use a multiverse now to excuse every bit of piss poor writing and planning that they've engaged in and just say, oh, we start over because it was a totally different universe. We're going to do it again. I mean, this seems like a cheap.
Well, and it's also desperation.
Get
It
out of
feels
jail
like
free card.
An ex-girlfriend who's trying too darn hard to get you back. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Paul?
I was just going to say that really conceptually, the mistake they're making is that they have really no concept of the comic book industry, the history of comic book industry, and the fact that none of this matters and the audience doesn't care. They don't have to make sense of it. It's not necessary. You could have a Fantastic Four movie with older characters now, and then make another movie with a completely different cast, sort of like the X-Men. The what's the name of the movie?
First Class.
Yeah, which I thought was fantastic.
Yep.
I went,
just watched it actually last night.
I went, this is great. And so you've got a cast that's from the 1960s, and then you have them now, and I don't care what stupid premise they even use that they want to inject them, because ironically, and I might be alone on this, I actually thought Deadpool Wolverine used the TVA properly.
I agree.
He needed an Wolverine, went through a bunch of them, found the one that he needed that wasn't from his timeline, but was the one that was best suited to accomplish what he needed. That I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the whole
and the fact that he hooked up with Laura, I almost cried.
Oh, X-23.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Well,
I mean, it's in the trailers.
It's in the yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
And the other thing too, with the whole TVA. No, don't worry about the spoilers.
Well, the best part was when Luke Skywalker showed up.
That was
great. Yeah.
So the point is, in many ways, Wolverine felt like, as messy as it was, exactly how a good comic book series is. Every month I got, my X-Men or my Fantastic Four. Some were messy, some were good. This was possibly one of the most perfect renditions of what reading a comic book used to be like. That's what I loved about this movie. The Doctor Doom reveal is just the continuation of the complete lack of creativity, understanding, moral and a creative bankruptcy under Feige. It's uninteresting. It's not even a great stunt. This is going to be Dr. Doolittle all over again. We don't care about
Dr. Doomlittle.
Very good.
This is why I love Paul.
We've made something magic tonight.
Well, a couple of things about this,
like no one's going to care about him in Doom.
Here's the thing.
I think he's miscast personally.
I
don't personally see Doom when I look at him. Like, for me, here's the thing.
Right.
The way I look at it is like this. If you're going to have someone play Magneto needs to be played by someone who is probably of European, not even European. In my opinion, it has to be someone that's Jewish to play Magneto, just because Magneto's Jewish. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And they haven't technically done that, but it is what
Gal
it is.
Gadot. She would be good as Magneto.
There you go. Dr. Doom is Romani. You know what I mean? And they don't want to hire anyone like that. So you have, and Robert Downey Jr. is how tall is he? 5'6", 5?
Yeah.
Somewhere
Dr.
in there.
Doom
He's short.
Dr. Doom's supposed to be this huge guy, deep voice, very tall and strong and scary.
Well, if they were going to bring somebody back, it should have been Mads Mikkelsen or something like that to play him, or somebody along those lines.
So, guys, I've been calling the playbook here for years. I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I'll tell you that what I'm hearing, and could be wrong, they could change the script. They're still working on it. But what I'm hearing is that RDJ is not going to be the only person playing Dr. Doom. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
And I mean,
so wait, they're going to have multiple variants of them?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
because,
hearing, Dibion.
We've
I wouldn't
already
be
had
surprised.
what?
Yeah.
We've already had 2 Reed Richards, or at least one that we'll never see again. John Krasinski gets ripped apart by
Right.
Dummy or whatever.
Right.
And again, all this stuff, it all comes down to like these ridiculous scenes where all of these major characters come in. They're there for 2 seconds. They get ripped to pieces.
They say
Because
hi and die.
They
Yeah.
can do the cheap multiverse, hat trick. And again, the whole issue with the TVA is one of these things to where, let's be honest, most people are going to go see this movie and not know what the hell the TVA is, unless you watched Loki, which wasn't that
Well, and the
well
TVA
watched.
isn't even that
Um,
important in the grand
and-
scheme of things outside of the bad guy and facilitating Wolverine and Deadpool getting together.
It's
After
literally
that,
just
the
there
whole,
to make it happen.
yeah,
That's it.
the whole
Yeah.
plot otherwise is,
Plot device,
and this is
yeah.
why I kind of like it. It's predicated on this idea that everything that they killed by killing 20th Century Fox off and all the other Marvel stuff has
Yeah.
now been delegated to this multiverse that is nothing but a wasteland.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole crutch of the film, in that and you have all these things that are now stuck there. And you're right. That's what this is all going to boil down to. And it's kind of set up in this film that we're going to get to a point. They could have just done it here. That's what's stupid. We're going to get to a point, though, where that's what it's going to boil down to, is things are going to get so wacky and out of control that they have to slim it down to one timeline. And that's what all the Secret Wars is going to be about anyway. And when it's all said and done, that's where actually it's going to happen during the Doomsday one. You're right.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is we get left with certain people who are playing certain people from the past back again, and other people playing other people that they didn't play before, now playing new characters is what it's going to be. So you're going to have a crisscross, I bet, of people playing one character and variants of others, and it's going to be a mess.
Trying to make sense of it is what's going to kill it.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
my whole point, Paul, basically in a nutshell. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that here's the thing. All of this doesn't matter if there's not enough goodwill carried forward between now and an entire year from now, when the next Marvel product of any value actually comes out. And
And
that's
if I were them, Valiant, I
Captain
would
Falcon,
table.
Brave New World. Yeah.
I would table
Oh,
that.
so
If I know
Valiant-
it'd be a huge loss. I'd table it. They don't need to put out crap that's going to diminish where they are right now with Deadpool and Wolverine. They're
Well, they're
going
trying to
limit.
reshoot it again. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I think here's the
I just have so many
bigger
questions.
problem is that
Yeah.
at the 340 showing that I saw it at yesterday,
Mm.
which was full, when Kevin Feige's name came up, the audience booed. I was utterly shocked.
where about were you in the country? You back
Albuquerque.
home, or you were still traveling in the
you
U.S.?
know, in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area.
Oh,
Okay.
so you're back home. Okay.
Okay, you're back
I'm
home.
back
That's what I
home.
was saying. I didn't know if you were in the States still or if you were back up in
No,
That's
back
funny,
up
though.
where half
Okay.
the audience lustily booed. I
Okay.
went,
Wow.
whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and that kind of solidifies the point
It's
here
evil.
is they should have just ended it here, and you know what, and said fuck it, and just rebooted from scratch with the
That's what I'm
Fantastic
saying.
Four.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
at that
That's-
point you're
that's the whole
starting
point.
from Marvel ground zero, right? I don't I know they don't want to admit defeat. That's the problem. They're trying to
Yeah.
have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Right.
And what it's going to do is destroy everything what's left of it anyway, because nobody's going to care after this. I know some of us are going to go see these movies because of the people that are going to be in it and the jangling keys aspect of it in certain respects, and because we have to for
That
YouTube
can
and
only
whatnot,
go
but-
so far now. Again,
Exactly. Now it's so
there was a serious hunger to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together in this film. I mean, the desperate desire by the fans out there as a
Absolutely.
one-off, right? There is no strong desire to see, oh my God, I can't wait to see Sam Wilson as Cap in a movie. Literally nobody gives a crap. And the same can be said for Harrison Ford. We talked about this before.
Ironheart. Yep.
Yeah, Harrison Ford
I
coming
forgot
in as...
Ironheart exists.
Well, I was going to
And
get to that as
Agatha-
well. Yeah.
Agatha all along is actually the next thing that comes along.
That is, and that's going to be another problem. Nobody's going to watch that show. Nobody's going to watch Ironheart. Guess what? Nobody went to go see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones last summer.
Right.
And they're thinking this is going to be some big boon to have him in Thunderbolts and Captain Falcon or whatever.
But
So
by the
now,
way,
but-
that's why Deadpool and Wolverine is the anti-Last Jedi. What they did to Luke Skywalker is the same thing they did to Indy. That failed tremendously. Deadpool and Wolverine does the opposite. It gives you everything you ever desired to see Wolverine do, and it's going to make
Exactly.
record-breaking money because of it.
I know what a concept, right? Give the fans what they want, and they'll
Who
go
would've
and
ever
pay
thought?
for it. I still think that That's the thing, is they can't really just reboot it. They have to have a reason for it happening. There's too much writing on it.
Yeah.
And I think in their mind, probably the reason why they have Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom is because they're thinking, we started this universe with him as Iron Man. We will end this iteration, if you will, with the same actor playing Doctor Doom. Everything comes crashing down. Battle World happens. God Emperor Doom and Molecule Man, and I'm assuming the Maker, which is a persona for Mr. Fantastic. They all fight and whatever, using the power of the Beyonders, and then boom, it all restarts. You think about it, when they started in 2008, they didn't have the rights to X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, even to a degree. And now if they were to reboot it, everyone is now alive and kicking at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
They have way too many toys to play with.
Exactly.
I think that's part of the problem. Well,
that's
Spider-Man is still, Disney can continue to work with Sony to use them in a way that Sony agrees to, but ultimately, like I said, right now, what Disney now has under its belt is effectively everything except Spider-Man. So which is big, adding in the X-Men and everything.
They have aspects of Spider-Man, but they don't have the movie rights, basically, which sucks for them. Yeah.
Right, and that's just it. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.